3 weeks into the NFL, and one of the teams off to the perfect 3-0 start, the Los Angeles Rams. 3-0. No hangover from losing and playing like a bunch of bums and Bill Belichick running circles around the Rams. But not all is right in Mudville for the Rams. LA's high-octane offense the last couple of years has not arrived. Now, the Rams are 8 in points, which seems misleading. All right, they're down about 5 points a game from last season. It doesn't seem that bad, down 5 points. They're still in the top 10 offensively. However, you got to dig a little bit deeper in terms of moving the football, matriculating the ball down the field. The LA Rams in total offense are a middle-of-the-road squad. They rank 16th in yards per game. In fact, to give you an idea of where that is in the spectrum, on the spectrum, the Rams have been less productive offensively in terms of yardage than the Minnesota Vikings, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Detroit Lions, who all have been more successful with their offense. So what happened to the pageantry of the Ram offense? Now, has Sean McVay lost the playbook with his offensive repertoire? Is that gone somewhere? Did he leave that when he got married? One of those, maybe the south of France there when he was on that boat with the beautiful wife that, or he's not. Is he married yet? I don't know if he got married, but he was engaged and all that in the offseason. I know that. So, but I'm going to say no, he did not lose the offensive playbook. This goes back to Todd Gurley, number 30, Todd Gurley, running back for the LA Rams. Now, Gurley has been both a running back and a non-factor in the Rams offense. He has been an afterthought. You know how you can go to a restaurant, you can get a steak, a New York strip steak, or you can get ground chuck? At this point, Todd Gurley has gone from that New York strip steak, which is very pricey, to ground chuck is where he's at right now. So did you hear what Sean McVay said about the load management plan? Well, you didn't. Good. We have the audio. Let's go to the audio tape. Here's McVay addressing what happened to Todd Gurley and where has he gone.
No, we're not doing anything like that, Liz. It's more along the lines of,
my name's Ben.
Each week presents a different, approach, and it's kind of the feel, the flow of the game. We want to get Todd involved. I'd like to do better about being able to give him a chance to really get more into a rhythm than what I've enabled him to do in these first 3 games. But then you also want to be able to give Malcolm some of his snaps, and I think it's worked out good in terms of the balance. But like I said, I think there's some things that you'd like to do a lot better job of giving Todd an opportunity to really get going. And yesterday, I didn't really represent that chance for him.
All right, so that was from earlier in the week, obviously, but it's kind of as he said, the feel and the flow of the game, and then he said he wanted to get Todd Gurley more involved in the offense, which seems puzzling to me when you consider the bigger picture. You got not just the micro, you've got the macro. So let us discuss the question, are you buying what you just heard from Sean McVay and his declaration on Todd Gurley pushing back on load management, fighting back against those that say load management? I am going to object. All right, I am going to object to Sean McVay. And my thoughts on this, you've got a bunch of things. You've got the Broadway show, you have the misdirection, which is also known as gaslighting, and in addition, you've got the devil. And we will combine all these things together, and we will make a Maller monologue. That's how we're going to do it. Now, Sean McVay is obsessed with offensive football, and by all accounts, that has not changed. It is not. It is amusing. I think that's the right word. It's amusing to hear Sean McVay say that he wants to get Todd Gurley more involved. Not only is McVay the coach, he's the micromanager, right? He's in charge of everything offensively related to the Rams. So if you think of this like it was a nice play on Broadway, a Broadway play, and Sean McVay is the one who choreographs everything that's going to take place on that stage. Everything, right? Each week, the Rams get together. They come up with an offensive script, but that's mostly on the back of Sean McVay. And he has a handful of plays to start the game, and then he has an idea what he wants to do as the game goes on. But it's all choreographed. It's all planned out. And we know he doesn't do much of anything with the defense, that he's just not even paying attention most of the time. And the defense does their own thing and all that. So it's all about the offense. Like, if this was a debate, if Aaron Donald got hurt and then came back and was limited and didn't play that much, and he was asked, McVay, about load management, then I could totally get him, kind of deferring to Wade Phillips and all that, the defensive coordinator. I would get that. Now, part B of this. It is painfully obvious what is going on here. So Sean McVay he's putting up this facade. Now, he's a smooth talker, McVay, and he's able to do things similar to Belichick as far as deflect, but he says a lot more while he's doing it. Do you understand? Like he has a lot more words. Where Bill Belichick will just go, he'll grunt and give you the death stare and all that and say a couple of things. That's it. But it's different with McVay. And he's like a smooth politician, like someone in Congress, right? Some highfalutin congressperson or senator or whatever. The Rams, this soundbite that we played here from McVay, the reason we played that is because that is what's known as gaslighting the fan base, right? That's saying there's no load management is akin to a politician claiming that, for example, they want to fight some vicious illness, and then they do a poll and they determine, well, the public doesn't want that, so then they just completely back away from it. I mean, it's essentially I guess that's not the right description, but it's taking part in a scheme, if you will, to keep the touches down while claiming you're not doing it. So it's essentially doing something and saying you're not doing what you say, what you're obviously doing, you just don't want to admit to it. You say it's not going on. It's the old misdirection play. Right? That's the old misdirection. Just like some businesses keep hours down artificially so the employees stay at a certain number of hours so they will not become full-time. We see this a lot in business these days. The Rams are putting up a barrier, a reef around Todd Gurley. And you should also use the duck test. This is a perfect example of the duck test. Quack, 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 quack. The duck test. If it looks like load management, if it walks like load management, if it quacks like load management, guess what? Spoiler alert, it's load management. That's what it is. The duck test. Let's go to the stats. Now, Todd Gurley, 14.7 rushing attempts per game, less than 15 carries per game. That would be, if it holds up, a career low for Gurley. It's only a couple of games. They don't ask me to wait till the end of the year to do the evaluation. How about Gurley averaging, last year he averaged 89.4 yards on the ground. 89.4 per game, guaranteed. Book it, put it down, in writing, in a pen. You're going to get that production from Todd Gurley. Now, he is down to 67.7 rushing yards per game. To put that differently, that's almost a 25% reduction in running production. The reduction in production is dysfunction for the Rams offense right now, which is in the middle of the pack offensively. It's down 24.2% from last season. Now, the last thing on this. So the devil is in the details. Todd Gurley has been we talk about this when Easter comes around every year. We have the hollow bunny, right? You got the chocolate bunny, which you get as a kid, and you think it's just solid chocolate, and then you realize, and you're devastated to find out, no, it's not solid chocolate. It's a hollow bunny. That's what Todd Gurley has been. He was a solid chocolate bunny last year, and now he's the hollow bunny. So far this year, he has lost the ability, apparently, watching the Rams, which I do watch more than most of the teams, but he has lost the ability to go what we like to call turbo time. And he has gone from a Swiss Army knife type of running back that can beat you in different ways with the big knife, the small knife, the scissors, all those things on a Swiss Army knife, and now he's a butter knife. Just the butter knife, just a plastic butter knife, a cheap plastic butter knife. That's what he's played like. The fear factor is gone. Now, will he get it back? How will you get it back? Are the Rams just doing this? Is this like the hope has to be this is like Kawhi Leonard in Toronto and he misses a bunch of games, but then when you need him late in the year, he'll be ready to go and he'll be like, whoa, you're slow playing. But oftentimes my experience is And every once in a while there's the outlier, the anomaly. But oftentimes when a player starts like this, they finish like this. Very rarely, and when it happens, people make a big deal about it. A player gets off to a start like this, and then they turn things around. More times than not, no, this is who he is. This is who Todd Gurley is going to be for the Rams. He's no longer an intimidating presence. And you look at other teams, the Rams are playing Tampa Bay this weekend. Buccaneers are a bad football team. Game's in L.A. You think the Buccaneers are that concerned about Todd Gurley, that they have to game plan? He's not the linchpin of the Rams offense right now. He's not the center of attention for the Rams at all. Not the case.